Good morning, beautiful people, and welcome to my channel. My name is Charisse. I love mornings like this. I feel like I say good morning in every video, but this time it actually is the morning. I am still in my pajamas. I just woke up and got out of bed about 30 minutes ago, and I don't work today, which is fantastic. Today definitely felt different getting up. I just was immediately in a good mood. And I will say my favorite thing about days off in the morning time is that I can take it as slow as I want to. Normally, I would wake up 2 hours before I have to go to work, use the bathroom, wash my face, and make myself coffee or matcha. This morning I'm drinking matcha. And then I'll make breakfast and I'll sit down next to this window. I'll show you guys. Right next to my beautiful little plants. And I will eat breakfast and drink my morning beverage while I listen to generally positive affirmations to put myself in a positive mood and attitude to go to work, because I'm not really enjoying my job very much. So I really have to kind of put myself into a good mental place before work, because I can struggle a little bit with my mental health on mornings that I do go to work. But today I just woke up in such a bright mood, and that doesn't always necessarily happen just because it's my day off. But today I just woke up and immediately felt energized, and I take that, man, especially when I am going through some type of depressive episode, energy can be really hard to find, even if I'm drinking multiple cups of coffee in the morning or a good amount of matcha. Sometimes it just seems like that energy is constantly out of reach. And this morning I just woke up energized and ready to do things and face my day. So I am just so beyond grateful for that. So I'm just sitting here drinking my matcha. Guys, if you don't know anything about matcha, oh my goodness, it is a form of green tea. It is absolutely amazing. I actually just recently started drinking it instead of coffee because I was encouraging my best friend to drink it because she has some blood pressure issues and she is trying to kick coffee out of her diet completely, which she has successfully done at this point. But she's also a mom, a stay-at-home mom, and so much respect to the mothers out there. That is such a big duty, and it can be really depleting to your energy taking care of a child. So I encouraged her to start drinking matcha, and then I was reading all the benefits to her, and I was like, man, I want to start drinking matcha again. But I wrote down some of the benefits for you guys just so you also know. Matcha is extremely detoxifying. It helps to boost your metabolism and your immune system. It is great for stress release. It lowers your cholesterol. It is an antioxidant. It helps with heart and brain health. It helps to improve your skin. It can regulate and reduce your blood sugar and blood pressure, and it is very hormone balancing. So matcha is amazing, guys. I do mix mine with a bit of water, a little bit of milk, and quite a bit of sugar. I'm not gonna lie about that. I enjoy having my little sweet tooth. I don't go too crazy. I don't really eat a lot of candy or sweets, but I feel like having a sweet tooth like I have all the time, just making sure that I'm not constantly consuming junk food and candy, allows me to not have any guilt and still feel really healthy when I do get to consume sugar, when I experience that craving. I feel like that's very imbalanced for myself. Yeah, so I do have some stuff to do today, but I am just taking it easy. I love my days off. I love my days off so much. I find it especially necessary to appreciate my days off to the fullest, especially because of how much I do not enjoy my job at this time. I am on the search for a new job, and I'm really hopeful that this week will be the week that I am connected with that. But for now, I just take in these days off, and I just try not to think about work at all. That's not what today is about. Today is about enjoying myself to the fullest, taking care of my home, eating good food, getting exercise, and doing things that I enjoy. So I'm making a video, which is something that I enjoy. I have been sewing a lot more lately, and I'm working on this. This is a little bag, and it's actually made out of old socks of mine. And I have made something before out of an older set of socks as well. I actually made a lace-up shirt a while back. You can kind of see on the inside, it's basically quilted. My brother says that it looks like a diaper, which is absolutely hilarious because it kind of does. To be honest, I kind of like it how it looks on that side too, but I think that with all the loose ends, I would say I'm about halfway done with this bag. I need to create a layer for the inside to kind of stabilize it. I need to create straps, and I want to create a couple little pockets to put on that. So I've been sewing and focusing that in my time, and this is something that I really enjoy. It's productive. I'm creating. I'm also improving my sewing skills. Also, that is completely hand sewn. I do not own a sewing machine, so over the past 4 or 5 years, I have been working solely on my hand sewing skills. I taught myself how to sew when I was about 13 years old, but I have not used a sewing machine since I was probably 16 or 17, and I'm 29 now. I would love to get a sewing machine in the future. I think that it would encourage me to do more with that skill of mine. But for now, I really, really enjoy hand sewing, and I have gotten so much faster over the years just by doing. And I think that that is going to come in really handy with some things. I think I would love to make a quilt, a hand sewn quilt, and possibly many down the line, and try selling those. I think that that would just be like a wonderful little hobby for me, and I can actually sell those for quite a bit because hand sewing takes a really long time. But I made a video recently about healthy daily habits, and I will put a link to it below. But one of the things that I talked about in that video is doing something that you enjoy. So I was working on that bag yesterday, and I've been working on it for the past few days, and I think that it's genuinely helping to improve my mental health. Not only is this something that is productive, that is also building a skill of mine, it's something that I enjoy doing, and I think that especially when I'm in depressive episodes, or just coming out of depressive episodes, or I'm looking at my life and it's not where I want it to be, and I'm not necessarily happy with everything going on, it can get really easy to just get like pulled into that everything means nothing, and just feeling lost in that abyss of darkness, and not feeling productive, and not pushing myself to do anything to pull myself out of that. And I will say that I didn't start sewing to pull myself out of that. I actually had a little mental breakdown. It's so funny because I feel like so many great things that I end up doing tend to be the outcome of mental breakdowns. So, you know what? Everything has its place. Darkness has its place. Anxiety, depression, all of it has its place. So, I actually had a little bit of a meltdown where I felt like I was just kind of like a worthless piece of shit. And I was just like crying about it. I was like down on myself, down on my life, where I'm at, how much I've created. Everything is crumbling around me, and I just like had that meltdown, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna make a bag. It's actually another bag that I'm working on, not this one. But I was like, you know what, if I'm a worthless piece of shit, at least I'm gonna be a worthless piece of shit that made something. And I don't actually think that I am a worthless piece of shit, but I definitely feel like it sometimes. I think a lot of people do, for whatever reason it might be. Sometimes my best friend thinks she's a worthless piece of shit just because she hasn't cleaned in like a day. And I'm like, you're just OCD and anal, sweetheart. You are definitely not a worthless piece of shit. You're amazing and beautiful. But I will say that going through that little mental breakdown actually was what gave me the push to get back into sewing again. I haven't really done much sewing in about 4 months. And I've already completed multiple projects. I had these pants that I wanted to extend about that much. And I did that. And now there are these amazing flared hippie pants that I have not been able to wear for like 5 months. I've also done little bits and pieces of extending other items of clothing. I have some other things that I need to patch up. And I have just been rolling out these sewing projects since this one day that I had a meltdown. It's just like sometimes going through those intense things are exactly what pushes you to do something. Not necessarily to do something better, but even just to do something. That's beautiful. So I guess I have to thank my meltdown and feeling like a worthless piece of shit for basically pushing me so far that I was like, I have to do something right now because I cannot wallow in this darkness any longer. I think that the darkness was a necessary period. I do not think that there's anything wrong with that. And everybody processes their own grief and their emotions and whatever you're going through in life in your own rate and in your own way. So I am not putting down anybody whatsoever. If you are just in a slump and you've been in a slump for a long time, trust me, I know how that feels. And the biggest gift that you can give yourself right now is compassion and patience and kindness. Absolutely. I will say that I was not necessarily giving myself those things when I just got the, I guess you could call it inspiration to start sewing something. But I will also say that I've put in a lot of work on myself and on my mental health. And there are bad days, there are good days, and there are days that are a mix of both. And I hope that you know that you receive compassion for no matter where you are at today or in your life in general. But I do highly, highly encourage you to do something that you enjoy today, even if it's something that you don't feel like you enjoy right now, which is something I also kind of talked about in my video about healthy daily habits, is that sometimes the things that you have enjoyed in the past seem to bring you no more joy. Like the thought of doing anything. It's like the joy has just been pulled the fuck out of it. And sometimes, even if you force yourself to do that, you don't necessarily feel joy. But I have found myself that when I am in a place of like nothing is really bringing me joy, the thought of doing anything is not bringing me joy. I don't want to do any of those things. I'm unmotivated, I'm not determined, I don't feel powerful, I feel weak, and I just don't feel good about myself. I don't want to do anything else. I've found that pushing myself to do something that I used to enjoy more times than not actually does encourage that joy to return. Perhaps not to the same extent that it's brought me in the past. And perhaps this will not necessarily work for you because everybody's different and everybody is in their own place in life. But it might work. It actually has worked with me. I think that finding things to do with your time is something that can be really beneficial to pulling yourself out of funks. And when you're feeling really down on yourself and down in life, sometimes getting a new view going somewhere else, going somewhere new. And this doesn't mean that you have to make like a big move like I've been doing for the past few years. It doesn't mean you have to move somewhere else, but like physically move somewhere else. Yeah, go somewhere pretty. Get a change of scenery. Sometimes that is huge and extremely beneficial in helping you get out of a funk. Something like that, if you just really truly are like, I am not going to motivate myself to do something productive or something that used to bring me joy, I encourage you to at least go out somewhere and get a change of scenery. Go to a pretty place. Nature is so healing for our mental health. Oh, it's so healing for our mental health. And you know what? If that is too much, then I do encourage you to sit down and do something that you used to enjoy. Perhaps it's creating something in some way. Like, I will give examples of things that I enjoy to do. I love writing poetry, which I have not been doing quite as much of recently, but I did write a few poems the other night, and it seriously, it just helped so much. If you are a writer and you find that you are dealing with writer's block, I completely understand that. I have been writing for about 20 years now, and sometimes it just happens. And I do have to say, though, that like, if you sit down and you're like, I'm going to write, just let it come out. Whatever it is, it doesn't have to be good. And oftentimes I've found when I just sit down and start writing, I don't necessarily like the first thing that comes out, but it will grow and it will grow. Sometimes you need just a little bit of a push to relight that inspiration inside of yourself. Sometimes that inspiration just does come of its own. Sometimes it does, but sometimes you gotta give it a little bit of a push. Just a little bit of a push. Something else that I enjoy doing is longboarding. I am not very good at it. I do not bomb hills. I do not even go down very small hills, to be honest. But I love it. I enjoy it a lot. I enjoy spending time with people and having good conversations. I enjoy spending time with my dogs and going on walks and sitting in nature. I enjoy yoga and meditation and sewing. I am not much of a reader, to be honest. I used to be, but I find it at this point in my life that it is a little bit more difficult for me to stay involved in books. So I really enjoy listening to things. Perhaps listening to a podcast or an audiobook would be awesome for you. Working with plants is a good one. Putting my hands in the dirt, I love that. That is actually something that I thoroughly enjoy. I love to dance. Dance is also something, honestly, all of these things I have not been doing quite as much recently, but I am doing them little by little, and it is helping to improve my mental health a lot. Every day, just doing a little bit of it. Yeah, guys, I feel like I didn't really know where I was going with this video at first, but now this is what it's about. Encouraging you to do something that you enjoy, even if you feel like you're not going to enjoy it anymore. So even this is a great example of kind of giving that inspiration a little push. So if you're not feeling inspired lately, do something that you used to feel inspired in and see where it takes you. Perhaps that is not going to be like the continually inspired project or whatever for you. Like, I'm even thinking of like working on vehicles. I think that working on vehicles can be super fun. I think that for myself, it's especially fun if I have somebody else doing it with me. I think that that might be the case for a lot of people. Perhaps you have some type of like project working on a car. I know lots of guys who have vehicle projects. I love my mechanics. I just adore you guys. I have so many mechanic friends and I think that they are so amazing. And I think there is so much fun to be had in working on vehicles with them, and I think that they also enjoy working on vehicles with their friends. Drinking a couple beers, I'm not encouraging alcoholism, and perhaps you're sober and that is not in the cards for you. That's okay. Don't no pressure for that. But yeah, I also enjoy art, so maybe just push yourself a little bit. And if that's not in the cards today, that's okay. I hope you give yourself kindness and compassion and patience for today, and perhaps tomorrow you can try. There's no rush. I don't know what you're going through right now. There are so many possibilities for what my viewers are going through right now. I don't know what type of grief. Perhaps you've lost somebody recently. And I think that, like, death and loss can be one of the most difficult things to process. Death and loss of any form, whether it's a person, a business, a place, an object, like, death and loss is probably one of the most difficult things I've personally found to process. And that can be one of the, like, most demotivating things that we experience. So, say you're going through something like that and you're like, I just don't think today is a day that I'm going to push myself to do anything. And if that's the case, it's okay. You're okay. I hope that you give yourself love today. If that's the only thing that you motivate yourself to do, is to give yourself love and kindness and patience. And please take care of yourself. Please eat something, drink some water, brush your teeth. Even if you just brush your teeth once today. Okay? Doing little baby things sometimes can be super beneficial and encouraging to pull us out of that darkness perhaps a little bit faster, but oftentimes the darkness kind of takes its own course and goes through us at its own rate. So, yeah, guys, that is it for today. I hope that you guys are having a really amazing, beautiful day, and if you're not, I hope that, I don't know, that this video encouraged you or made you feel something good inside. And I hope that you make something beautiful today. Or make today something beautiful. I'm gonna do both, I think. So, thank you for being here and watching my channel. Please do like and subscribe. If you do end up creating anything or pushing yourself to do something that in the past has inspired you or brought you joy, or perhaps you're struggling with it, or perhaps not, and you just like, yeah, you're right, I am gonna create something today. Please, like, totally share with me what you made, or like what you did that is inspirational to you, or what your hobbies are. I will not always give like extensive responses, but I do really enjoy reading your guys' comments and the things that you have to share. So please do share in the comments. This is a beautiful little community that we have here, and perhaps as well, like, you sharing something that you did or something that you want to do, or just something that you're going through right now could really encourage somebody else's day that is reading through those comments on my channel. So, I hope you guys have an amazing day. Again. And I love you and I believe in you. And I hope that I see you next time. Okay, bye.